Baseball season is in full swing, and we've got a pick for you guys coming up. We've got a nice little promo code for 20% off the entire site at picksandparlays.net. The code is NFL20. NL East action in the Phillies and the Marlins. This game is a pick 'em. The total is 9. Some interesting stats to look at. The Marlins are just 7-9 at home entering Friday night. The Phillies are 7-9 on the road entering Friday night. Spencer Howard gets the ball for the Phillies. He's 1-2 with a 5.88 ERA. He's only gone 5 innings just once this season. And then it's Jose Urena going for the Marlins, who 5 innings, 3 runs versus the Braves last time out. However, 2 of those were from Freddie Freeman, who absolutely owns Urena for some reason or another. He is 3-5 with a 4.27 ERA and 12 starts against the Phillies. Chip Chirimbes is joining us to talk a little baseball. Chip, what's your take on this matchup?
I just can't believe the storyline here is that Philadelphia is a half game ahead of Miami Marlins with only like 15 games to go in the entire season. We're talking about September 12th. And that, of course, is because of the conditions that they're playing under, a 60-game schedule. Philadelphia hasn't really put it together. You mentioned you're 7-9 on the road, and the Marlins are 7-9 at home. But the Marlins won their first 3 at home, so they've only won 4 of their last 13. But they are 37-15 as home favorites. So I was hoping that possibly Miami would go to $1.20 in around there, because on the road Philadelphia is 7-15 when a dog, and they are 31-64 overall as underdogs, because that's when they get a chance to play like dogs. And I can't believe that this team doesn't have more gumption than that. They're 11-4 against the NFL East and 12-5 in their last 17 overall. But Miami's played well as a favorite, and Miami surprised a lot of people this year. And Spencer Howard with an ERA of 5.66. Urena's only getting his second outing of the year. I could see Miami winning this game. I would lay it. I would take the Marlins. I don't think it's a spectacular play by any means, but I just like to go against Philadelphia. I like to boot Philadelphia.
Right. For the payroll, as you mentioned, you'd think that the Phillies would be huge favorites in this one, but they have not played that way. And especially because their bullpen has been so terrible. Granted, they added a couple guys from the Red Sox to hopefully shore up that bullpen a little bit, but it takes more than 2 guys. They can't pitch every night. And the Marlins have been the surprise of the NL East and really of baseball in general. They've played against all circumstance with the COVID breaks and all of those things. And Urena actually was pretty good, minus those times against Freddie Freeman, which, as I mentioned, for some reason or another, that's his kryptonite. And other than that, he actually pitched pretty decent against the Braves. So I would take that into consideration when betting this game as well.
And, Chelsea, how bad can that Philly bullpen be if they have to get help from the Boston Red Sox? There are no aces in that staff either. Now, Philadelphia, just talking about it, I think it was 2 days ago, gave up like 8 runs in the 7th and 8th innings and blew an 8-1 lead. Their bullpen has been absolutely horrid. It's the worst in the major leagues. And maybe I'm coming down a little too harsh in that lineup and Joe Girardi, because, like I said, they just can't come in and put kerosene on the fire.
Right. Well, we have to mention that the Marlins have given up quite a few runs in the past week as well, being on the wrong end of a 29-9 game. Yes, that's a baseball game against the Braves. And then the first game in the doubleheader the previous day, 11-0 against the Phillies. So it's not like the Marlins are great either. So I think the over might be worth a look as well.
It certainly may be. And what's a unique thing about that 29-9 game? It's the first time I've ever seen it, and I didn't hear anything about it, Chelsea. But 3 different players, 3 different Braves scored 5 runs. Now, for an individual to score 5 runs in any single game is kind of a monumental thing. It doesn't happen much during the season. And you had 3 players, all consecutive in the lineup, that all scored 5 runs. I thought that was quite an anomaly. But over would be the way to go without question with these 2.
Well, that's going to do it for our Phillies and Marlins talk here on Picks and Parlays. Thanks for joining us. Always good stuff from Chip Chirimbes.